What's up, YouTube? Jeff, your Style O.G. And on today's video, I'm gonna share with you 10 easy ways you can get more organized. If you're new to the channel, we release a new video every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern, discussing various men's lifestyle topics such as style, grooming, and dating. I invite you to subscribe, tap that notification bell, and join us. And to my returning friends like Lee Tate, salute. Now let's face it, living a disorganized life can be very inefficient, non-productive, and stressful. It seems like you waste a whole lot of time and don't get a lot done. But fear not, I'm here to help you if you're someone who gets disorganized from time to time. On today's list, I've got 10 easy ways that if you implement them, you'll be on your way to being a little bit more organized, efficient, and productive. So without any further delay, let's hop right into it. The first way to get organized, and the one I recommend to any person that's struggling with it, start writing things down. Here's the thing, no matter how great your memory is, you're not gonna remember everything. Trying to remember everything disorganizes your thoughts, complicating things. Writing things down and seeing them in front of you in a permanent fashion lets you organize them and keep them together. If you try to keep everything in your head, you're guaranteed to forget one or many things. If you're someone who's struggling with not being organized, the first key is to write things down. You'll have them in front of you, you won't forget them, you'll keep them organized. Speaking of keeping everything right in front of you, leads to our next tip to be more organized. Give everything a place or a home and keep it there consistently. Things that you use consistently on a daily basis especially, give it a place to live and put it there every day. One of the ways organized people keep order is having a place for something, knowing it's there, consistently being able to find it, and not waste time looking for lost things. If you have a place for something and you put it there every time, it's almost impossible to lose it. Won't waste time searching for things. For example, I have a valet tray where I put my wallet, my phone, and my keys every day. I never have to look for them. Give everything in your life a place. It'll keep you more organized. Speaking of keys, I like to carry mine on an organizer that's simple, elegant, and very functional. Like the key organizer from today's video sponsor, Carl Friedrich. Carl Friedrich makes high quality, unique, and sophisticated designs made of beautiful, supple Italian leather. And that definitely includes their key organizer. Carl Friedrich's key organizer is made with beautiful vegetable tan vachetta leather from Tuscany, Italy. Solid brass screw hardware and the beautiful supple leather is soft to touch and will develop a nice patina over time. Carl Friedrich's key organizer is like a Swiss Army knife for your keys. Now I chose this gorgeous cognac leather, but it comes in 6 different color and screw combinations. So make sure you hit that link in the description and pick up one of Carl Friedrich's beautifully designed pieces today. Next thing on our list that will definitely help you be much more organized, on a daily basis, write down the 3 most important things you need to get done that day, prioritize them, and get to doing them. The reason why I like this suggestion, when you have just 3 things to pay attention to, you won't feel as overwhelmed. 3 is very doable. And having 3 important tasks allows you to concentrate. Disorganized people, a lot of times their thoughts are all over the place because they have 10, 20 things they're trying to think about. A more focused person is a more organized person. You can easily get very overwhelmed and disorganized if you have 10 or 20 things you think you have to do. Instead, every day, pick 3, write them down, prioritize them, and get them done. Which leads very nicely into my next organizational tip. Do one thing at a time. The reason why I recommend you do this, if you concentrate, think about, and focus on one thing at a time, that's much easier to organize. A lot of times disorganized people, they try to multitask. A lot of people think that's a good thing, but for disorganized people, multitasking is a recipe for failure. You want to have what's called present time consciousness. That means concentrating on the task at hand. Put all of your focus on your top priority, get that done, and then move on to the next thing, mentally and physically. Great way to stay organized, focus, concentrate, and do one thing at a time. Now, after you've picked out that one thing you're gonna concentrate on, do yourself a favor, Do it now. Do not procrastinate. You'll often find disorganized people are also procrastinators. When you don't handle the task at hand right now, it allows things to pile up, making you more disorganized. Pushing things off, letting them pile up, stresses you out. And the thing about jumping on something right now and not procrastinating, you'll get it done, you'll have a sense of accomplishment, you'll develop momentum, knocking one task after another off. A great way to be organized: don't procrastinate, do it now. Now, one of the characteristics you'll often find in organized people, they develop good habits and routines. Here's why this helps. When you have good habits and routines, you'll get things done without even really thinking about it. It's almost like you're on autopilot, especially if you have good routines and habits. When you have a daily routine, it creates momentum. You're just breezing through things. Disorganized people, when it comes to habits and routines, do some self-analysis. Think about the things you do every day that waste time, get rid of the things that waste your time, keep the habits that keep you efficient, and develop more good routines. Develop some good habits and routines, you'll put your day on autopilot. Another thing I highly recommend you do if you want a more organized life, have a habit of cleaning up regularly. Here's why this helps. A less cluttered area is a more efficient area. Think of your stereotypical disorganized person. They have papers and things all over the place. The area they live or work in is very messy. An organized person, not so much. You want to clean up, but the key is do it regularly. It stops things from piling up and creating disorder. Remember, a clean area is a more efficient area, leading to a more organized life. Which leads very nicely into my next tip to stay more organized. Not only should you clean up regularly, during this cleanup process, only keep the things that you need. Here's why this helps. The more things you have that you don't need or want leads to more clutter, more disorganization, less efficiency. And another thing about getting rid of the things you don't need, things that you don't really need or want can easily lead to distraction. Only hang on to the important things. One of the ways to be more organized, be more of a minimalist. Getting rid of the things you don't need leads to less clutter and helps you keep the things you do need much more organized. Now, next up is something I highly believe will help disorganized people. Learn to delegate tasks you don't have to really do. Now, one of the things that can happen to a disorganized person, they take everything on them and get overwhelmed. They tend to think they have to do everything on their own. Not so much when you talk about an organized person. An organized person takes on the things they need to do, but delegates tasks they don't necessarily have to do on their own to other people. It's pretty simple. The less you have to do, the easier it is to organize yourself. Do a little reflection. Keep the tasks you absolutely have to do, but delegate the ones you don't have to your kids, your wife, your coworker. They can carry some of the load. Now, one of the characteristics you'll find in a lot of organized people, they value consistency over perfection. One of my favorite sayings is that great is the enemy of good. Here's what I mean. If you hold yourself to this impossible perfect standard, a lot of times you won't even get started. And when you hold yourself to this impossible standard, it's very easy to fail, get more frustrated, and get more disorganized. When you make your best effort and not expect perfection out of yourself, you'll accomplish small tasks incrementally. You'll feel a sense of accomplishment, even if you didn't complete it perfectly. Everything doesn't have to be done just right. It just has to get done. Remember, organized people value consistency over perfection. Now, as I mentioned, I know being disorganized can be very stressful, very frustrating, and very inefficient. But I strongly believe if you incorporate several of the recommendations I made on today's list, you'll be well on your way to a much more effective, productive, and organized life.